my head. What in Silver's whispers? Where are you going?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Priest here with Addendum 13 Gaming. Bringing you a little playthrough video. There's going to be probably about 14 episodes to this playthrough. I'm going to try to squeeze it into less, but the rendering time takes forever. Now, just to let you guys know, this is not a completionist guide. I'm not going to collect every single audio log or go out and get every single achievement. I'm just going to play the game, hopefully turn some people on to Dead Space who have never played it, and show you a few little tricks and tactics that maybe you didn't know, maybe you didn't think about, and along the way I will show you the location of a fair few of the audio and text logs, as well as how to get a handful of achievements. Now, to anybody who knows me, they know that I love Dead Space. Dead Space has revived the survival horror genre after it was skull-fucked into submission by Resident Evil. Thank you, Capcom. But another thing I'm going to do in this walkthrough for anybody who is interested, if you don't know, the hardest difficulty in this game is called hardcore mode. And it is a pain in the ass. The difficulty under it is called Zealot, and it is not... Hardcore mode is not that much more difficult than Zealot, except for one small thing, and that is that they limited your saves. So for the entire game, you can only save your game 3 times. So it's a little bit harder than Zealot. Weapons, health, all very scarce, and you can only save your game 3 times. Now that would not be a bad thing, because I can play through this entire game on the hardest difficulty in a couple hours. The issue is they also took out the checkpoints. Meaning, if I save my game at Chapter 2 and play to Chapter 12 and die, I go back to Chapter 2, unless I make another save along the way. So yes, it is a nightmare. My initial run through on hardcore took me about 20 hours, because taking your time is definitely a good idea. But as I was saying, what I'm going to try to do on this video is give you guys some tactics and some strategies that maybe can hopefully help you try to get through hardcore mode and get that achievement.
A mission for which you volunteered, am I right? What did you find aboard that ship, Isaac?
They found something.
What did they find aboard the ship, Isaac?
The marker.
Did you have contact with this marker? It made you see things, didn't it? Things you didn't want to see.
It spoke to me.
What did it say, Isaac? What did it say to you, Isaac?
Alright, and here we go, the game officially beginning.
Isaac, can you...
And if you remember the original Dead Space, they had a sequence in the beginning where you started off very vulnerable. You didn't have a weapon. You had to run for your life. And in this one, they just extended it and made it a little bit more traumatizing. But it's the same scenario. And the reason that they do it, that they keep doing these segments at the beginning of these games, is it sets you on edge very early in the playing of the game. You got all this stuff around you that's trying to kill you, and you have absolutely no way to protect yourself. And wow, look at you, buddy. Looking good. I think I dated her. And with a headbutt, welcome to Dead Space 2. Right out the door, hang a left and follow the route I am running. It seems pretty straightforward, but trust me, a wrong turn here is probably a really bad idea. I haven't discovered all the ways this opening segment can go wrong, but I have found a few of them, just deciding to take a left instead of a right, or go the other way around the pillar, and it's a bad idea. You can get whacked at least once running through there, and it won't kill you, but it's pretty easy to avoid getting hit. Here we go. We're out of the prologue now, and officially in Chapter 1. Now, the first few areas of this game, especially in hardcore difficulty, are going to be your most challenging. Chapter 1, hands down, one of the hardest chapters. Chapter 2, a little bit better. Chapter 3, a little bit better. And the main reason for that is obviously you have nothing. Right now, I literally have nothing, and in a minute, I'm going to get a couple items, and I will have almost nothing, and by the end of the chapter, on your initial playthrough, you will have almost nothing. But things to keep in mind is DLC will save your life, because when you start a new game on hardcore mode, you have nothing. You have to start from scratch. So getting the DLC, there's several packs out there of armor and weapons. Most of them don't run. I think they're all around 400 Microsoft points. All the DLC weapons and armor have special attributes and abilities, you know, extra inventory slots, or plus 10, plus 5 damage, with, say, like a minus 5 reload speed and different things like that. A little bit of an RPG element, but the DLC weapons will be in the store, despite the fact that you started a new game with nothing. Those are going to be your saving grace in getting through hardcore mode. You need them. You can do it without it, but hardcore mode is a big enough pain in the ass without the added stress of not having anything. And here's the moment I was talking about, where you go from having nothing to might as well having nothing with a small health pack and a flashlight. And I'm glad you're gonna kill yourself, because you're a fucking asshole. Like, hey, there's a med pack and a flashlight in the locker over there, and there's a gun in the other locker. No, it's just fucking flashlight. Now, just so everybody knows, I am not playing this on hardcore difficulty. I am playing this on New Game Plus, and I am playing this on normal. If you guys would like to see me do a run through on hardcore difficulty and post that up, comment on this video series, let me know, and if enough of you guys want me to, I will go and do it, but unless I'm requested to, I'm not doing it, because hardcore mode is a living nightmare. Now, another thing also in these first few areas, you don't have to worry about anything. There's nothing. You got the opening prologue sequence where you're running through the hallway in the straitjacket. There's enemies there. After you get out of that, you're not going to see anything for a little while until you get up ahead of where I'm at now, and then you're going to run into a few things, but it's going to be they don't completely screw you over in this, because the fact that you are so poorly armed and defended. This whole opening of the chapter is pretty much just here to mess with your psychology and to get you up to speed on the game more than anything. Now these sections right here where you have to go through the vents, there's not a million of them in the game, but I really enjoyed them. I thought they were an amazing addition to the game, just because they kind of gave me that Aliens feel where, you know, Ripley's clamoring around hunting the xenomorphs, and I just thought it was a neat thing. But anyway, back to the game. Here we go, right here. You come over here, fiddle around in the box, and you will get your Kinesis module, which will allow you to grab objects at a distance by aiming and pressing the B button if you are playing on Xbox, that is. Now, you see how I broke out that one little glass door there? There's another one exactly like that behind me. You can break out either one. But the reason I just break out one is that these two necromorphs will come that direction. And they won't break out the glass. They will walk around and come right there. And it gives you time to pick up your stakes and get an aim on them. And a lot of the tactics and stuff that I'm talking about it works on everything, but it's especially helpful on Zealot and invaluable and hardcore. Right here, you want to run out. You want to grab this bookcase, smash it on this guy. It's going to keep him away from you for a minute. Pick up the stake. I missed my hook there, but I still knocked him down with a piece of the shelf. And yes, folks, that was a direct nut shot. It's amazing. Don't forget, guys, a lot of these necromorphs that you kill have appendages that you can pick up and use to impale other necromorphs. And that's what you need to do in hardcore mode. You need to use what's around you. You need to conserve your ammo. If you can kill one necromorph and that necromorph has 2 arms that can be picked up and used to kill 2 other necromorphs, then you just killed 3 enemies, but you only had to use your ammo to kill 1. You've got to kill everything. You've got to smash everything, every crate, look in every closet. Pick up everything. It's vital. But I also don't recommend going after hardcore difficulty on this until you've played the game. I would say at least 4 or 5 times. Just keep running through it. Even if you want to run through it on Zealot a few times, and then you'll have a good difficulty comparison, and it won't be such a shock. But anyway, this guy is in here getting all left on the operating table, and fiddle around with his computer there, and you will get your plasma cutter. And right here is what I was talking about. I used the plasma cutter to kill the necromorph, and then grab the appendage and kill the second one. And I actually attempt and fail to kill this one. You can kill him like that, but I'm not playing on hardcore, so it's not as vital to me. Although I will continue throughout this playthrough to attempt to play this as if I was playing hardcore difficulty. So anyway, now you have your Kinesis module, you have your plasma cutter. All that is missing is your stasis module, and of course your armor rig. And that's what we're heading for right now. Another clever thing that Visceral Games did in Dead Space was hiding the loading screens behind the doors. Most often or not, when your little view screen comes up and you're having a conversation with somebody, or you click on a door and it says that it's equalizing pressure or something of that nature, those are all masking the loading screens, which it helps to keep the flow of the game to never see a loading screen. Another thing, when you're killing a lot of these necromorphs, they all die a little bit different. These guys right here, the what I call the basic slashers. These guys, if you can hit them in the ankle and then hit them in the elbow, if you hit them in the right spot, it's going to be a good old 1-2 punch, and they're going to be down. This wheelchair right there, also on hardcore difficulty, might be a good idea to bring it down here with you where I just killed those guys. It's a pretty heavy object and it will knock them back if you need a little time. Later in the walkthrough, I'll show y'all a few areas where bringing environmental objects with you, if you're familiar with the game already and know where enemies are going to spawn at a later time, you can actually move objects to a location, and that way when you come out the door and the enemies spawn, when you're backtracking, you already got some stakes and a suitcase or a wheelchair or a box or something, some stuff to throw at them already prepared for you. Little text log there. Now, as far as the collectibles in this game, the audio and text logs, they don't really hide them. They don't really try. You can find them pretty easily just by casually going through. Play the game once, play it again on New Game Plus to finish out your achievements, you know, your leveling up your rig, some of your dismemberment and weapon kills achievements. And just keep looking, you're going to find them. There's not a million of them, and they're all pretty out there and obvious. Little fail with the trash can there, but it's okay, I'm still going. And another miss. I do apologize for some of this stuff, I'm a little bit rusty. I've played Dead Space 1 and 2 probably about 30-40 times each, 100% of both of them on Xbox, but I have not touched this game in a hot minute at least, but I figured I'd pick it up again and play through, show you guys all this stuff, let you experience the game, and get ready for Dead Space 3.
Isaac, we don't have to be friends, but like it or not, we're stuck together.
A few goodies right here.
Not me.
And I actually did not pick it up, but behind me in that little reception area was a power node laying on the floor.
You're on Titan Station orbiting Saturn. As for the others,
Okay guys, this is the #1 spot, audio log on the floor. This is #1 spot I'm going to talk to you about. This is the most dangerous spot in Chapter 1 for hardcore difficulty. Because at this point in the game, you have not saved your game. You can't save your game this early. It's a waste of a save if you're going to make it through the game. But this guy right here, when you get your stasis module, this guy will one-shot kill you. Do not just get your stasis module and then try to shoot him. It will not work. The game wants you to hit him with stasis. It's designed that way. So you need to hit him with your stasis and not miss. I think he killed me about 2 times randomly, and if you die right there, you have to go all the way back and watch the cutscene. Now, these spitter guys are probably one of the biggest nuisances in the game to me. The limb dismemberment doesn't work as well. These guys, you need to get the head, but that doesn't always work. They sometimes can still crawl after you without a head. They just can't spit at you from so far away. Power node right there. So generally, I try to take off their legs, or a leg, and then go for the headshot. Most of the time that works. But I think that's one of the reasons I did find those guys so annoying, is that you can shoot their leg and then their head, and sometimes they're still crawling after you without a head. You can shoot their head and their arm, and they're running after you, so it's a little bit more random. But once we get the force gun, none of that will really matter anymore. Once I get to the store, guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about inventory setup and what you guys, at least what I do, and what, in my opinion, is the best inventory arrangement that you can use. Granted, at this point in time, if you're playing through hardcore mode on your first run through, then you don't have anything unless you have the DLC. So, another thing, if you're familiar with the game and you have the DLC weapons, it will prevent you from having to go through and look for weapon schematics and go out of your way into dangerous areas just to acquire weapons at the shop that you need. The little decompression thing right there, just so y'all know, there is an achievement for decompressing so many necromorphs, aka shoot the window. You sneaky bastard, I knew you were there, and I knew you were going to come alive. You shoot the window, let them get sucked out, shoot the trigger. Just make sure before you shoot the window, you have a weapon that's good for shooting the trigger. Something, oh my god, my inventory is stacked. Make sure that you have a plasma rifle or a plasma cutter, or pulse rifle, whatever the hell they call it. And here we go, guys. Very first store, chapter 1. If you've made it here on hardcore difficulty, you are just beginning, but at least you're here, because this little box will save your life. And here we go. They're gonna stick me in a rig, but I have many options for my armor, and throughout this playthrough, another thing I'm gonna do, since I have all the suits of armor, even the Zealot suit, which you got from pre-ordering the game. I'm gonna, every time I hit a store, I'm going to change my armor and let you guys kind of see a bunch of the stuff. Now, as far as inventory setup, on hardcore difficulty, I recommend a lot more med packs. But the goal is to not put yourself into situations where you're going to get hurt and need a health pack. I generally like to run 2 medium med packs and then 2 or 3 small med packs. As far as my health goes, make sure every time you get to a store, clean it out, sell the stuff you don't use. A few little money-making tips for you guys. Large med packs are extremely valuable. You can sell those for a good chunk of change. And I find the medium med packs and the small med packs are much more plentiful and just as good. And another thing, actually, before I get into that, I want to show you guys this. This little foam finger here is what you get for beating hardcore mode, other than the achievement, of course. And bang bang, Isaac points, goes bang bang, and I might show this to y'all a little bit later, but I promise you this hand cannon foam finger will shred almost anything in the game to pieces, which is why I'm not going to be using it, because it's a little cheap for a walkthrough. Another thing to keep in mind is the guns that you carry have a higher percentage chance of spawning ammo in the environment. Meaning, if I'm carrying a plasma cutter, I'm going to find plasma cutter ammo more than I would find ammo for a gun that I don't have in my inventory. So one thing that I used to do and still do a lot is the line cutter. The line rack ammo for it sells for pretty good money. So I will put the line cutter in my inventory slot as a weapon, but I won't use it, and I'll just pick up the ammo that spawns for it in the environment, and then I will sell that ammo. Which I have made a lot of money doing that. You can even, if you only like 2 guns and you only want to use 2 guns, use 2 guns and put whichever 2 guns put the line racks and whatever other gun has the second highest priced ammo, put those 2 in the empty 2 slots, and there you go, just sell all the ammo for those guns. And here we go, I'm going to slip into the Zealot armor, which as I said, you got for pre-ordering, or excuse me, for purchasing the Collector's Edition. Now, as far as what guns you need, in my opinion, there's only 4. And that is the plasma cutter, the plasma rifle, the force gun, and the detonator. And in my opinion, that pretty much covers every scenario you're going to want to get into. Sometimes you need something fast that really shoots a lot of bullets. You got your plasma rifle right there. Sometimes you need something that's a little bit more steady and accurate. You got your plasma cutter right there. Your detonator mines are invaluable because of what are they called? Stalkers. And a few other situations throughout the game, which I'll show y'all as they come up. But the force gun, hands down, get it, level it up, keep 1,000,000 rounds of ammunition in your inventory. It will learn how to use it, and it will be your favorite gun. Now that we're here, we're about to fight the first big enemy boss type thing. And you see me doing a little preemptive strike here. On hardcore mode, if you have the DLC ammo, this is a good idea. Set up a grid. And also, the boxes around this room, you're going to be kind of scarce on ammo. But you have your kinesis, and most of these boxes are relatively in range, and as long as you stay in front of this little pillar right here in the middle of the room, you're not going to trigger the giant necromorph. And this can give you a little legs up. There's also a stasis recharge on the wall back there, but just walk around, gather things, take your time, you're completely safe. Pick some stuff up, and then trigger the Big Daddy. Now, I don't do this fight as clean as I probably should. I definitely would have already hit him with stasis by now if I was playing on hardcore. But, boom, stasis, better late than never. Stasis again, and boom, detonator for the knockdown. But a lot of these things in Dead Space 2, guys, you have to remember, especially in hardcore, just because you think it's dead, sometimes it's not dead. And that's one right there. After he does a little death animation, and his arms are gone, and he goes down, he's still got one more punch in him. And that punch can mess you up hardcore. Always take your time to recharge your stasis and your oxygen and your health wherever you have time. Always cycle through your weapons on when you have an idle moment. Go through your guns. Make sure they're all refilled. Reload all of them. That way you're good. And anyway, that's going to be it for episode 1, guys. Chapter 1. We made it. I'll see you next time.